Well, hello there. This is John Byrne with Poets and Quants. Welcome to our one-on-one interviews with an alum of a major business school. Today, we're talking about the master's degree in a quant subject, specifically a master's in management science and quantitative methods. Now, don't get afraid because you'll find out that it's probably not as daunting as you might think, because we have someone who now works for AIG as a risk expert in market risk management in LA, who actually got a 4.0 in her master's degree at the University of Utah's Eccles School of Business. Her name, Nidhi Singh. Welcome.
Hi, John. Thanks for having me. And that was a great introduction.
Well, a pleasure. You have had a fascinating career already, even before you went to business school. Actually, you got a finance degree from Christ University in Bangalore, and then went on to do risk analyst kinds of jobs, ending up at Qatar Insurance Company, which is a fascinating experience in and of itself, for 4.5 years before you came to Utah to get your master's. Now tell me, why Utah and why a master's in such a daunting subject, it seems to me, as management science and quantitative methods?
It's
That would
not
scare
as
me.
daunting as it sounds. But yeah, so when I was like pursuing my risk management profession, at that time, I did realize that my long-term objective to be develop that risk expertise. I did have my professional background with me, but then there were a few areas that I was lacking, especially in terms of market risk, which was not my area, and that was not a forte. And if definitely I want to pursue a risk expertise career and further grow, there were certain lacks. And what was the next step for me at that point in time to go for? And then masters was the best option that I had, and I think it turned out to be a very well movement for me.
Now, you could have pursued an MBA, but you knew you wanted to stay in risk management,
Yeah.
in that kind of credit analysis work, I guess, right?
Yeah, sure. So I did already have an MBA degree. So, and in my role at Qatar Insurance Company, I was on the strategic side as well from risk management.
Ah,
So
okay.
I understood the business perspective, but then I did lack some technical skill set for market risk or for to say like financial risk domain.
Mhm.
And risk management, if you see in the last 5 or 6 years, it has drastically moved. It has been more technical rather than the qualitative side of risk management that industries had been doing in the past. And to build up those skill set, I thought that it was a good area where I could build in my expertise for my long-term objective.
Now, Nidhi, had you ever been to the United States before?
I did for a short vacation, but yeah, that was just like a week. But yeah, then when I moved. That was like the very first experience you could afford to say.
Now, you already had been through a very big cultural experience in moving from India to the Middle East. What
Mhm.
was it like moving from the Middle East to the United States into Utah?
It's a lot greener. That's the very first thing. So you see like a lot of greenery around it. In terms of cultural differences, yes, there are. Uh, you see public transport a lot, which in Middle East you don't see much because people drive their own vehicle. But in terms of the overall culture, it's more open for say. You in Middle East also to a certain extent you may have some communication barrier for to
Mhm.
say, but definitely that if you are really decent in English, you do not have that communication barrier in the US. Uh, Apart from that, you can the lifestyle is different for to say like you can just go out whenever you want to yeah, and definitely you do not get alcohol in Middle East and in all the places. Yeah, so that's like over here you have like a different experience altogether, so yeah.
True.
Hmm.
And tell me what it was like to go to the Eccles School of Business and
Hmm.
pursue this degree.
So, so when I decided that, I want to go for a master's in finance degree, and that was the area which I want to pursue for my career goal, I looked into the top 10 MSF program in the US, and I was little late to start with the application process.
Mhm.
So I had two options then, like either I wait for a year and then apply, or I start proactive networking with these universities just to see where exactly my long-term objective, because I knew my weaknesses, what are the areas that I need to build expertise. So I started my research then in terms of, what are the universities which are still open for the timeline, and the courses was the biggest thing that I think any applicant should research for. And to my surprise, the kind of flexibility that I had in terms of electives that I could choose, uh, it all felt really well, and in terms of what I actually wanted from my master's program.
Yeah.
uh, so you had like flexibility from like finance market laboratory, where the theoretical concepts are taught with experiments. And for someone who's coming from a little bit of experience background, it definitely helps them,
Yeah.
because they have seen things but they do not, it helps them to ingrain that theoretical concept really well. Also, there were like coding lessons, which I definitely needed. So I could build that expertise on the coding side. And and one of the most important thing, which was definitely not part of the core curriculum, I got an opportunity to work with the University Venture Capital Fund,
Ah,
where there is a university venture capital fund where you could go, you could actually work and see and interact with different entrepreneurs in the social impact investing. So VC was one area which was completely new to me, and it helped me to understand, how a smallest idea could be converted into a business or entrepreneurship. So
yeah.
that was like a great experience, creating pitches for the investment committee. For me, I would say, the things that I definitely wanted to build on, I got full opportunity. And just to emphasize on the fact that it was not my individual journey, that's how I felt for this program. The kind of support system I had, like from career advisor to academic advisors, to decide on which curriculum which subjects to choose.
Mhm.
I like whenever I used to reach out, I used to get a prompt response. Like, so I never felt in the journey that it was my individual journey to create that degree, but also the fact that, there were people around me, and everyone is like working hard to make you successful. So I would say that, it was one of the best decisions that I made to join University of Utah.
That's great. Did you have a favorite course?
Yes, so I did mention about the finance market laboratory,
Yeah.
which because I learned like a lot about algo trading, which I had no exposure before. So that was something which I loved, and I also loved like financial modeling classes. And to emphasize on that, the kind of work that I'm currently doing, be it like fixed income securities or the derivative pricing, the core concepts were taught in that class. So I can completely relate to, with my master's program, and how can I actually apply it to my current job. That's something which, I think because of those courses, it all happened. I could actually understand the concept, and now I can actually do deliverables based on those underlying concepts.
And how many other students were in the program with you?
So they were close to 110, I would say, and most of them were either, some of them were doing part-time jobs. Also, at the same time, there were individuals from different countries, so there was like a good or decent diversity, I would say,
Mhm.
in the program. So you could understand that the same problem can be solved through in different ways, rather than, initially I was like, okay, one problem, one solution, which was definitely the kind of learning I had was to bring in and develop that perspective.
Right.
Yeah.
And were there many women in the program? Because this is such a quant area that I would imagine that there are fewer women than might be in a, let's say, a traditional MBA program or master's in management program or something like that.
To my surprise, there were quite a decent amount. Like
Wow.
if I interact with my other peers in different university, I just felt like, I had like a good distribution. Like I had
Yeah.
a lot of women in my class, especially and from different fields. Like it was not that, from different age group, from different countries, and that was something which I was also surprised by. But yeah, it was good to have a lot of women in the class.
And it's a 1-year program, right?
Yeah, it's a 1-year program. So it can extend up to like 18 months. It depends on how many course you could take in one semester.
Right. So
Mhm.
what was it like to live in Utah?
Utah is, I would say, I've traveled like in US, couple of cities, and I think one of the best cities I have ever lived. Uh, the snow is perfect, like especially for me coming from Middle East. It was like something that I was looking forward to. And then one thing that I loved about was the public transport. I live right now in California, and I think that the public transport is like really good in Utah. And for university students, it's free actually. So,
Oh, wow.
yeah, so it's and the kind of connection it has, it's really good. Uh, Also, people are very friendly. Like you always see, like whenever you walk out of your house, people with smiling faces greeting you, and you just don't feel like someone. For me with international background, if you come, you have that welcoming atmosphere there, so you would definitely enjoy that. You don't feel like, okay, probably there are not many people with diversity around, or is it like, am I the outsider? You never feel that,
Wow.
right? Yeah.
And you learned to ski in Utah, right?
Yes, I did. I'm not a pro, but yeah, I'm learning.
So
That
if you
was
had
in
to
my
think
to-do
of,
list. Yeah.
that's
Mhm,
right. If you
mhm.
had to think of 3 words to describe the culture of the school and the program, what would the 3 words be?
Collaborative,
Mhm.
innovative, and the third word would be hustling.
Ah,
Because yes, so hustling reason being there is a lot of opportunity, and you need to grab them. You need to find, what exactly you want to look at. So, um, for not for just Utah, I think. In master's program, nothing comes in a platter. You need to actually go out. You need to take that step, a step to interact with people, to build that rapport, to network. So and you cannot take full out of a master's program without hustling. So those
yeah.
would be my 3 words. Yeah.
How helpful was the school in setting you up for your new career?
So the program has like a dedicated career advisor, and he has been very good in terms of the responses, or sharing any potential opportunities, setting you up with the alums to interact with. So you definitely, you don't feel like, okay, you have to do everything yourself. You need to go out, set up some time with him, and say that, okay, these are my areas of interest. There are different seminars that happens, and you also have a portal where many companies, they list the opportunities that they have, or if they are coming for a fair, and they will let you know, like, these are the applicants we are looking for. um, Apart from all that, you definitely need to do your individual networking
Mhm.
to just in case if you have like a certain set of skill set, or you want to develop certain set of skill set and you may not find it, so you need to do your individual networking as well. But in terms of career advising, what is right for you, what are the areas that you lack, you have a portal where you can directly interact with the career advisor, and you can get some ideas. And I think the alum group has been really nice. They have, like, whenever you have tried to reach out to them, they have always responded. They have helped you understanding what the job requirement is, and what they're looking for to be the right fit.
Very good. If you had to give some advice to
Mhm,
an applicant who is in your position back before you went to Utah,
mhm.
what would it be?
So definitely GMAT is, or GRE to say, is one of the key area that applicants look for. I would definitely say that you need to emphasize a lot on the SOPs or essays, because that shows your individual color, and that helps you to understand whether the program is right for you, and not just for you, even for university, whether you are the right fit. Because there can be like n number of universities and n number of personalities. At the end of the day, it has to be a good marriage. Like, you are right for the program, so look out for the program. decide on your SOPs, and also search for the course curriculum that is being taught, and also research for the professors who are teaching it. Like if you want like more of theoretical knowledge, because if you're looking for a PhD after that, it's all individual's choice. And if you want to get into another job or career for that matter, then you might be looking for industry expertise, in the professors who are coming in the evening, and then they're taking those classes. So look for the courses, and I would say that after the application, after being selected, there's another life that also starts, and just be prepared for it, and yeah, enjoy each and every day of your university life, because yeah, it's very important.
Very good advice. Well,
Yeah.
what a pleasure it's been to meet you.
Yeah, same here. It was lovely to talk to you.
And good luck to your continued success in your career. Looks
Thank you
like you're
so
off to a
much.
great start in LA.
Yeah.
And I think you love LA, right?
I love LA. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. This is John Brennan with Poets and Quants. We've been speaking with Nidhi Singh, who is now at AIG, is a risk expert in market risk management in LA after getting her master's in a very difficult subject. For me, it would be at least in management science and quantitative methods with no less than a 4.0. Oh my goodness. I can't even imagine it as a poet, but she did it. Thank you so much for watching.
Thank you so much for having me.